We finally have gotten our hands on a legitimate 3D Mark entry pertaining to AMD's upcoming RX Vega gaming graphics card. This particular database entry is of the flagship reference RX Vega board, codenamed 687F:(C1, and not only does it confirm several pieces of info regarding the board's specification, it has also given us a glimpse into what we can expect from AMD's upcoming high-end offering in terms of performance. Welcome back, QatNippers. Today we present you a gist on what we have on the heavily rumored RX Vega from the house of AMD by the Radeon Technologies Group, or RTG as we know them. So without any further delays, let's learn together. AMD's Radeon RX Vega specs confirmed: 1630 MHz GPU clock core speed, 8GB HBM2 at 945 MHz, and a 484 GB per second of memory bandwidth. Clock speed represents a modest 30 MHz improvement over the Vega Frontier Edition, and the HBM2 frequency is identical to the Vega Frontier Edition, which translates to 484 gigabits per second of bandwidth. This, funnily enough, translates to 1 GB per second of bandwidth per millimeter square, as Vega 10 is 484 millimeter square in size. In terms of memory capacity, as expected, this board, which we expect to be the Vega 10 flagship in RX lineup, comes equipped with 8 GB of HBM2 rather than the exuberant 16 GB of the Vega FE. To deliver 16 GB of memory into 2 HBM stacks in the Vega Frontier Edition, which stacks has to be 8 high. 8 high HBM2 stacks are considerably more expensive and difficult to produce compared to standard 4 high HBM2 stacks, which is why it makes all the sense in the world for AMD to opt for the 8 GB option on its gaming Vega card, at least for now.
Oh yeah!
As per the latest tests done by WCCF Tech, we can see that, putting the figures into perspective, the GTX 1080 Ti is ahead of RX Vega by roughly 20%. RX Vega is ahead of the GTX 1080 by 15% and leads the GTX 1070 by 35%. Keeping that in mind, we expect that similarity to the GTX 1080 Ti, RX Vega's lead over the GTX 1080 and GTX 1070 could shrink in the real-world gaming tests, depending on the game and resolution tested. We fully expect to see other RX Vega graphics card that will slot in right below the RX Vega card in the above chart to compete at a lower price point. At 484mm squared, Vega is significantly larger than the GP104, which is only 314mm square in size. This means it's more expensive to produce, so as such, pricing RX Vega to compete with GTX 1080 and 1070 is going to be very tricky for Raja Koduri and his team. The more performance they manage to squeeze out of the silicon, the more wiggle room will they have come the launch day. There's still a strong appetite for high-end graphics cards among PC gamers. Slightly faster and or cheaper alternatives to the GTX 1080 and 1070 in combination with FreeSync's attractive cost advantage over G-Sync could prove to be compelling enough proposition for some gamers, especially those looking to make the move to high-resolution adaptive refresh rate technology monitors. Many have already made the move to a FreeSync monitor and are simply waiting for a faster Radeon card than the RX 580 to drive it. But then again, all those gamers who have upgraded to a GTX 1070 or a faster card are customers that Nvidia has taken out of AMD's reach. For others that fit neither category, it's going to take more convincing. Naturally, RTG could sweeten the deal with a high-profile gamer bundle or more aggressive pricing, but with the latter, they risk a price war with Nvidia, one that with a significantly larger chip they simply cannot win. One thing's for sure, whether Raja and his team have done enough to make RX Vega a compelling product will only become clear when it launches at the end of the month. So friends, be wrapping up for today, and we hope that you like this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to us if you haven't already, and a million thanks once again to those already subscribed. Last words for today: always get high in life.